What's up, my friends? It is Griff Nielsen with Lifelong Fitness. How are you? I thought I'd go with lights out today. We're going to go natural today because I want you to think of a topic that you probably haven't heard of before, or considered, I should say. You've probably heard of it, but you probably haven't considered this. I want you to think of our current relationship with food in the 21st century, right now. 2021. What is the relationship that we have with food? Now, let me just give you my experience having coached people for 20 years in nutrition. The experience that most people have and the relationship that most people have with food is a relationship that is very fast-paced, right? They got to get their nutrition in. They don't know when they're going to be able to do food prep. It's hard to make real foods or whole foods because they are concerned about, convenience and getting, having enough time to actually do that. We use terms in our modern dietary nomenclature such as calories and where are your macros and are you burning fat? What diet are you on? Or carbs are bad. Are you on keto? Are you vegan? We have labels attached to different diets and ways of life as far as it pertains to our nutrition and the different dietary protocols that are out there. Now, I just wanted to have you contrast this fast-paced, frantic lifestyle, looking for the silver bullet, looking for the next shiny object, counting calories, hopping on a treadmill after we, quote, blew it after a big Thanksgiving dinner. And we've pretty much relegated nutrition into this very simplistic, linear, manufactured concept that we all have to deal with, right, and figure out, and it's complex, and it's this monstrosity of a concept that confuses the hell out of most of us. Well, consider our ancestors. Consider for a moment. Let's say like Native Americans or some of our ancestors on the African plains. Nutrition to them was a very spiritual practice. They would literally commune with nature. They would hunt an animal, pick a plant, gather things, and they would do it in a sense of reverence. They would do it with respect. When they would kill an animal, they would thank the gods or whatever their belief system was at the time. They turned it into a spiritual practice. It was something that in their lives was very sacred to them. They revered it. Get out of the light there. And it was something that their intuitive self, if you will, was very in tune with. They listened to their body. They knew what was good for them. They didn't have nutritionists. They didn't know the difference between manganese and magnesium and calcium and phosphorus and all the above, but they listened to their body. Their body told them when to start eating. They didn't have calorie ranges. They didn't, worry about getting fat. They didn't worry about if they were having carbohydrates or if they were in ketosis or if they were in, the keto camp or the vegan camp or, all the dogmatic things that we have now. They simply ate according to what the land gave them and what their body was asking for. They knew when to stop eating. They knew if something was toxic to them. That's where things like fermentation came in. They listened. They were very intuitive. So my point being here, what can we learn from our ancestors? And it's easy to say, well, that's why I do the paleo diet. Well, okay, but even within that, there's certain restrictions and nuances, which I love the paleo diet, by the way. Great. I think it's a great sustainable way of life. But what can we learn as far as what nutrition is to us? Can we learn perhaps that our body is this ultimate feedback mechanism that knows when to start eating, when to stop eating, how much protein we should have, how much carbohydrate, without throwing demonic labels and dogmatic labels like carbs are bad or they're, you can't have that. And that's really what I believe the message of our ancestors would be if they were to teach us today. Nutrition really is a spiritual practice. Now, when I say spiritual, I don't mean that in like a religious sense. I mean that in an energetic sense. Nutrition is energy, and our ancestors knew that. And when I say spiritual, that's all I'm saying is this transference of energy. Metabolism is the breaking down of food. It's taking it in one form, say from a carbohydrate, then it is transformed in our body, in our mitochondria, and that ultimately yields us energy combined with oxygen, right? And so think of the lessons that we can learn. If we eat real food, whole foods, whether they be plant-based or animal-based, and we do so with respect, and we do so with appreciation, with gratitude, we can literally make nutrition a spiritual practice because it's the energetic management of our body and our mind. We can make that into a practice that we may not have up to this point considered because we're so on the run, we're throwing labels onto nutrition. We don't consider it a spiritual practice. We don't consider it part of what makes literally us in every cell of our body. We literally are what we eat, which to me, that you can't get more of a spiritual practice than that. We talk about, you may have heard in certain circles, religiously or otherwise, like the body is a temple. Well, I agree, because every cell in our body is made from what we eat and what we breathe. And I believe that our ancestors knew that. And the challenge that I would make to you today is, if you get confused by nutrition, if you are searching for the next holy grail of nutrition, the next shiny object, the next diet, the next expert, perhaps maybe think the opposite. Think of nutrition as a spiritual practice where your body is in charge. Your body will call the shots and give you the wisdom that you need when you start to eat whole foods. If you'd like help with this, that is pretty much what we do here at Lifelong Fitness. We're about intuitive eating. We're about eating real foods and getting back to a place of looking at nutrition as a part of lifestyle, something that you do. And we do so in a spirit of respect for the foods that we're eating. So something to consider. Maybe a little different point of view than you've been used to hearing. I hope so. I would love to hear your comments. If you would like to learn more about how we can help here at Lifelong Fitness, we do a free consultation. We're much different than the big box gyms and a typical nutritionist or dietitian. We take a whole foods approach. We take a lifestyle-based approach, and I think you would find it very intriguing because it is based on long-term results. So if you have any questions, please let us know. I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment. I'd love to hear your opinion. And remember to never excuse away your inner greatness. And always remember, life is good. Have a great day, my friends.